Welcome to Rich and Prosper. If you're new here, this channel is all about building wealth, making smart investments, and creating financial freedom. Whether you're looking to grow your real estate portfolio, start investing, or just take control of your financial future, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about one of the best ways to build long-term wealth: buying your first investment property. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Real estate? Isn't that a little out of reach for the average person? Here's the truth. It doesn't have to be. While it's not always as easy as they make it seem on those house flipping shows, it's definitely achievable if you have the right strategy. So in this video, I'll break down the key steps, from setting your goals and figuring out your budget, to finding the perfect property and avoiding common mistakes. Ready? Let's jump in. Before you even think about scrolling through Zillow or checking out open houses, we need to take a step back and really define your goals. Ask yourself, what am I hoping to achieve with this investment property? Are you looking for a steady stream of passive income every month to supplement your 9-to-5? Or maybe you're playing the long game, seeking an investment that appreciates in value over time like a fine wine. Some people are all about the quick flip. Buy, renovate, sell, and repeat, and that's awesome too. There's no right or wrong answer here, but knowing your why will shape your entire strategy. It's like setting a destination on your GPS. It helps you navigate the entire journey. If you're just starting out, I usually recommend buying a rental property in a good location with strong rental demand. That way, you'll have consistent cash flow and a property that appreciates in value over time, kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room: money. Now, most banks require a 20% down payment on investment properties. Why? Because they see them as riskier than your primary home. That 20% down payment can feel like climbing Mount Everest, but don't worry, there are ways to conquer this mountain. The traditional mortgage route is your best bet if you have good credit and a stable income. It's like the well-paved road to real estate investing: reliable, but sometimes a little slow. Then we've got hard money loans, your go-to for quick cash. But be prepared for those interest rates. These are more like the scenic route, faster, but with a few more bumps along the way. Don't forget about the HELOC, or home equity line of credit. This is like using your home's equity as leverage to buy another property. And hey, who says you have to climb this mountain alone? Partnering up with another investor can be a fantastic way to share the costs, the workload, and of course, the profits. One crucial thing to remember: don't just focus on the down payment. Factor in all the costs. Property taxes, insurance, potential maintenance, and even those occasional vacancy periods. It's like budgeting for a trip. You wouldn't just factor in the plane ticket, right? A simple rule of thumb is the 50% rule. Assume that roughly half of your rental income will go towards these expenses. It's always better to be pleasantly surprised than caught off guard. Finding the right property location. This is where it gets exciting. We're talking about actually finding your investment property. But hold your horses, because we're not just going for the prettiest house on the block. Remember, this is a business decision, so we need a property that makes financial sense. First and foremost, location. This mantra isn't just for real estate agents, it's the golden rule of investing. Look for areas with job growth, good schools, low crime rates, and amenities that attract renters. Think of it like finding the perfect neighborhood to open a shop. You want foot traffic, right? Next, choose the right property type. Single-family homes are generally easier to manage, especially for beginners. It's like starting with a single scoop of ice cream before moving on to the banana split. But if you're ready for a bit more responsibility and potentially higher cash flow, multifamily units like duplexes or triplexes could be a good fit. Don't forget to check those market trends. Look at rental rates in the area, see how property values have been appreciating, and make sure the numbers make sense. One quick trick I use is the 1% rule. The monthly rent should be at least 1% of the purchase price. So, if a house costs $200,000, you should aim for at least $2,000 in rent. It's a quick and dirty way to see if a property has good income potential. Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Analyzing deals and making sure you're not getting caught with a money pit. You wouldn't buy a car without checking its history, right? The same goes for real estate. Due diligence is key. First up, cash flow. This is the lifeblood of your investment. It's the money left over after you subtract all your expenses from the rent you collect. A positive cash flow means you're making money, and that's the goal. Next, let's talk about the cap rate, or capitalization rate. This is a fancy way of measuring a property's potential return on investment. A good cap rate typically falls between 5% to 10%, depending on the area. Think of it like this. The higher the cap rate, the better your potential return on investment. Never, and I repeat never, skip the home inspection. This is non-negotiable. A professional inspector can uncover hidden problems that could turn your amazing deal into a financial nightmare. Trust me, it's better to spend a few $100s on an inspection up front than to be stuck with tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected repairs down the line. Finally, don't forget about local rental laws. Some cities have strict regulations on things like security deposits, lease agreements, and even how much you can increase rent each year. Congratulations! You found a great property, run the numbers, and your offer has been accepted. But hold on, we're not quite at the finish line yet. First comes the negotiation. Remember, in real estate, everything is negotiable. Don't be afraid to counteroffer. Sellers often leave some wiggle room in their asking price. It's like haggling at a flea market. You never know what you might get unless you ask. Once you've agreed on a price, make sure you thoroughly review the contract. This is where having a good real estate attorney in your corner is invaluable. They can help you spot any red flags or clauses that might not be in your best interest. Think of them as your real estate bodyguard, protecting you from any legal pitfalls. Now the exciting part, becoming a landlord. But before you start collecting rent checks, there are a few things you need to do to set yourself up for success. First and foremost, screen your tenants carefully. A bad tenant can cost you time, money, and a whole lot of headaches. Always run background checks, credit checks, and contact their previous landlords for references. To make your life easier, use online rent collection platforms like RentRedi or Cozy. These platforms streamline the entire process, making it easier to track payments, send reminders, and even report late payments to credit bureaus. Finally, if you're someone who values their time and hates dealing with tenant issues, consider hiring a property manager. They can handle everything from finding tenants and collecting rent to dealing with maintenance requests and even evictions. Buying your first investment property is a big step, but it's also one of the best ways to start building wealth and creating a brighter financial future for yourself. If you take the time to plan, run the numbers, and buy in the right location, you'll be well on your way to long-term success. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips to keep in mind. First, start small. Your first property doesn't have to be a mansion, just something that cash flows and helps you gain experience. Second, be patient. Don't rush into a bad deal just because you're eager to get started. The right property is worth the wait. And finally, never stop learning. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more real estate tips and strategies. And let me know in the comments what your biggest challenge is when it comes to getting started with real estate investing. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and happy investing.